What's up, guys? Welcome back to Burn the Ship, the podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to go all in on their business. And today we have a lovely guest, Tori Crosswhite. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
So, what is your business?
I own a cleaning company called Xtreme Cleanings, and we are primarily based out of Cherokee County.
Okay, awesome. So, how did you get to the point that you're at? What did you do beforehand?
So, I was a chef in a previous life at a restaurant in Canton, very popular, and I did that for about 4 years. And then before that, I helped with my mom cleaning her houses. She used me as a little bit of slave labor whenever I was 11. So, funny thing is, I told her that I would never do cleaning. So, and here I am.
So what made you, so obviously you working with your mom,
Mm-hmm.
what made you have that desire to open up your own business?
Well, after I was incredibly burnt out being a chef. Being a chef is incredibly hard. It's over 60 hours every week. It's grueling work, working till 4 a.m., all these various things. And so after a certain point, I decided that I wanted to be my own boss. That I wasn't realistically, I don't like people telling me what to do all the time. And so I didn't really know how to do anything else. So, but I knew how to clean houses. So that's where I went with it. So
That's interesting. So being a chef, you said that you were working 60 plus hours.
mm-hmm.
When did you stop that? What's that time frame look like?
I came out of high school in 2016. And then I worked at IHOP for a couple months, decided IHOP was not the right path for me, applied to this position at this restaurant, and then worked there for 4 years. I think I was promoted to sous chef within, I think it was 8 months of working there.
That's awesome.
It really was. It was a great experience
impressive.
for me at the beginning. And then COVID hit. And I was really burnt out. I was laid off, and then they gave me an opportunity to, take a couple weeks back, and then I decided that I was never going back. Mm-hmm. So I was dealing with a lot of depression at that point too, and, dealing with my own mental health issues. I think I was 22, whenever I just decided that, I was done. So, and at 22, you're still trying to figure out who you are and what you want to do with your life. So I think most kids at that point are in college still. Mm-hmm. So it was, a groundbreaking moment for me to, quit that job.
Yeah, especially during COVID, like you talk about mental health, like that time was difficult for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're the strongest minded person around.
Right.
COVID was very difficult for all of us. That's mainly the reason that we have the podcast right now is because of COVID, because nobody could meet face to face, and we started Zoom meetings and got our name out there that way and started bringing people in to promote local businesses so that they don't shut down, because most people's brains were like deflated during COVID. I mean, I was so sick of sitting in my house all the time.
Yeah.
So it's nice that that kind of curved you into doing what you're doing and something that you actually care about.
Yeah. I was really, a lot of people, whenever COVID hit, everybody dealt with a lot of isolation. And I think that, having that period of isolation to figure out what I wanted to do was really, important for me to be able to have that moment. So.
Yeah, absolutely. It could have been like during that time frame of those like 2 years that we were stuck in COVID. It could be completely diminishing for you, or you could maximize on that alone time and figure yourself out versus destroying yourself.
Yeah. And that was really important for me. So it really helped me put my life back together. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, you were a success story through that.
Yes. I think that I have one of those rare stories where, somebody was like, oh, COVID, actually helped me in some ways. But you know.
Versus the depression crying in a TikTok wormhole.
Right. Oh, God. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about your business. What do you do? Do you do residential cleaning? Do you do corporate? What's your ideal referral look like?
So we are a residential cleaning service. We service all different kinds of clients. We have, the clients that have OCD, the clients that have ADHD. We service single moms, single fathers. Our ideal client, is the people that like to, spend more time with their kids. That's really, cleaning takes a lot of time away from family time. And the people that just, they would rather come home from a work week and spend the weekend with their kids instead of having to, scrub baseboards or clean up their toilets or, their stoves, whatever. And then we also do post-construction work too. Post-construction is a side that we're really expanding this year, and we're working with a couple of builders that are building apartment complexes around here. So that side is really expanding. So
that's awesome. So I was going to ask you, so I have a company that comes and cleans my house bi-weekly. So yours is like to the point that you are actually going to like clean baseboards? Do you do like normal like housekeeping? Like like she makes the bed, she folds the toilet paper, she does like all of that stuff.
Yes.
But she doesn't do in-depth cleaning. So you do deep cleaning as well as just the normal upkeep?
We do deep cleanings and we do recurring cleanings. So we do bi-weekly, weekly, and monthlies. And then deep cleanings, everybody always wants to, ask what goes into your deep cleanings. And basically we try to cover everything from the top to the bottom of the house, making sure that walls are dusted and baseboards are done. And we do, cute little designs on, the toilet paper, especially around Christmas time. We, we do little poinsettias.
That's so cute.
We fold all the little toilet paper into a flower, and everybody loves it. The clients go crazy over it. So, and then we stamp the toilet paper and fold the towels, and we do the whole thing. So
that's awesome. So my follow-up question to that is, there is, like I said, I have somebody that comes and cleans my house. So what separates you, because there is so many people in the cleaning industry that do a similar thing, what separates you? I mean, the designs are cute and we love that, but what separates you from your competitors?
I hold my employees and everybody that I work with to a certain level of accountability. After every single cleaning, there is a checklist that is left and it is signed. So that way, the client is able to go through that checklist and,
so cool.
Make sure that everything was done. And then the team lead signs off on it, it puts their name on it so that if there's any form of issue that ever arises, because, we're not perfect, we can, talk with the team lead about those kinds of things and be like, okay, let's make sure that we're doing these things better, because ultimately, these people, everybody's paying for a house cleaning. So we want to make sure that it's perfect, and make sure that they're getting what they want out of their house cleaning, because everybody has different standards. So that's what we try and make sure that we're doing. And then we also, I want to say that we form a certain connection with our clients. We really try to get to know our clients, and we try to make them feel like, we're a part of their family. Being in people's homes and cleanings, you really build a connection with people, and you get to see what they're going through. I mean, some of the things that I've seen is, I've seen living wills, I've seen do not resuscitate orders. So, it gets, you want to be in tune with your client and their needs. Some people just need, their closet organized. So we try and give in little ways to clients that are, important to us, and make sure that they feel like they can come home and everything be fully reset.
Yeah, that is something that I don't typically think about, is how intimate someone coming into your home when you're not there, they can go through whatever they want to go through.
Right.
And it's very important to have that trust in someone. I don't want everybody going through my laundry and going through my bedroom. Like,
exactly.
No, that's
right.
Get out. So if you trust the person, that is the most important. So it's awesome that your company really prioritizes on making sure that that person feels safe.
Right.
You need to have somebody in your house that you feel is able to be there and won't, screw you over, rob you.
Right. The horror stories that I've heard of, whatever belonging in their house just disappearing, or cleaners overstepping their bounds. It's like, I just can't imagine, what some of these people have gone through. So
yeah, that's awesome that you guys are able to really focus on the trust, because you can't continue to hire somebody that you don't trust.
Right.
Not in your home.
Right.
It is different if you're walking into an office with somebody, but you're going through my bed sheets.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to make sure that you're a straight shooter.
Right. I've heard, there have been some stories where one time I had a client tell me that her cleaner went through her bedside table.
That is not a place that anybody should
I know,
ever be.
Exactly. Like, what are you doing, chica?
Yeah.
Stay away from there.
Yeah, I was like, shh. Scatter.
Yeah.
Well, that is so great, and that definitely does differentiate you from other people, because that is super important. So where do you see this business going in the future?
I've always said from the beginning that I want a cleaning empire. I want to be everywhere. And ultimately, I want to be a household name. So these are, my business side goals, I guess you could say. And then my personal goals is to really, connect with my community and take care of my community and be able to take care of my employees. So I want a healthy work environment. I want the community to reach out if, somebody's struggling. I want to be able to be, a part of things. And ultimately, I think that my employees want that too, is just to, we'll be everywhere, but we're here and we're going to take care of our place. So I think that that's really where I see myself in 5 years and see the business in 5 years. So
yeah, that's great. So what does your reach look like right now? So we're in Ackworth. How far do you guys span if somebody wants to use your services? Can you do outside of the state, or do you typically stay in this region?
We have not moved out of the state yet, but we've done work in Bartow County. We've done work in Pickens, Gilmer. We're like basically all of North Georgia. And eventually we do have plans on expanding down into South Georgia. But we want to make sure that our reach here is solidified and that, we don't want to grow too fast. So primarily we're just North Georgia and Metro Atlanta area.
Okay, well, yeah, you don't want to trip on your own 2 feet.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you don't want to run before you can walk.
Yeah, and I think that that's a fine balance too, so.
Yeah, for sure. So with you being in this industry, creating your own company, what would you tell our listeners that are upcoming entrepreneurs that are working this 9-to-5 job and scared to leave and burn their ship and jump all into the business of their own? What is something that comes to mind for you that is inspirational or has helped you? What tools, what tricks have you learned that they can possibly use?
So one of my favorite quotes, and I've always looked up to this quote, it's from Muhammad Ali, and it's the short version of it is impossible is nothing. And I've always taken that to heart, and I've always, I've always decided that, you know, if I'm going to put my mind to it, I'm going to put it in 100%. And ultimately, I've never, you know, with that kind of mindset, failure doesn't exist. Impossible is nothing. And so really just, I've always related it back to, you know, how in school they say, if you do your homework, you're never going to fail. I always do your homework. Always do your homework and you're not going to fail. That's the one thing that I probably learned from school. So I just make sure that, you know, I'm always giving it 100% and never, you know, giving up on it. So I think that was a big thing that really put me here where I am today. So
that's a very interesting quote, because I don't think that I've ever gotten that before. We've done like almost 600 podcasts. But that is like us saying burn the ship. That is your mindset. Like you jump all in, like go for it or don't do it at all.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why, you know, I think I was talking with your friend Katie, I think that's her name. Yeah. And, you know, she, whenever I brought up that kind of thing, she was like, yeah, that's exactly what that is about. She was like, you should go there. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. So I definitely, you know, I always try and, you know, inspire people to do those things, and make sure that, you know, you're achieving the goals that you want to achieve, because you really are only here for like 60 years. So yeah, at this point.
Right. That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is absolutely what people should live, breathe, eat, die by.
Right.
Is just do it, because we've only got one chance.
Yeah, exactly. So
that's awesome. I love that. So tell the people if they want to use your services. You are mainly in the North Georgia area at the moment.
Yes.
But how can people reach you if they want to use you?
You can reach out on our website, xtremecleaningco.com. No E at the beginning of that. And my business line is 470-908-4214. You can call or text that line, and we can write up a quote as soon as possible. So...
Awesome. Well, y'all make sure to reach out to you. You are fantastic. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate you. Yes. And y'all make sure to hit her up. And thank you.
Thank you.
All right, bye, y'all.